Today, COROS is introducing the all-new COROS APEX 2 and the APEX 2 Pro. And both of these products have titanium cases, sapphire glass lenses, touchscreens, multiple satellite connectivities, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and long battery lives. So, what's the difference between these two and why would someone pick one over the other? In this video, we'll go over the basics of each, look at data accuracy, and in the end, we'll try to help you make the call on which of these two new COROS APEX watches might be right for you. If you do decide to buy either of these two watches, in the box you'll see the watch, of course, with a 20mm or a 22mm Velcro watch band, cables for charging, instructions, warranty information, a setup guide, and of course some stickers from COROS. And the COROS APEX 2 comes in a black, a gray, and a coral color. I have the coral color here, and the APEX 2 Pro comes in green, black, and gray. And I'll be showing the green version of the APEX Pro throughout this video. Now, neither the COROS APEX 2 or the APEX 2 Pro are cheap watches. The APEX 2 will set you back $400, and the Pro $500. But the watch bands are affordable. COROS does sell these separately if you want to, mix it up from whatever you originally purchased. The 20 or 22mm nylon bands cost $29. And just for reference, the Apple Watch Ultra Trail Loop cost $100. But both the APEX 2 and the Pro watches have a sapphire glass screen, grade 5 titanium alloy for its watch body. And I haven't had these watches all that long, haven't really been able to bang them up that much, but they should be fairly durable. Now, both of these screens are touchscreens, and I'll just say that, the touchscreen is used very sparingly throughout the operating system. It seems to mostly be used in that kind of widgets area, or there is a setting in here to allow the touchscreens in an activity if you want to switch between activity screens. I also remember that COROS said something about increasing the use of touchscreens throughout the operating system, so that may actually be slightly different in the production version that you end up purchasing. But either way, they will have some settings in here to kind of fine-tune those touchscreen experiences. Now, both of these watches are water resistant up to 50 meters. I found lap swimming with them to be perfectly fine. Of course, I would love it if COROS would consider adding, some sort of drill mode in here for lap swimming. But for the most part, swimming with these devices is great. Now, I didn't have a chance to test, either of these APEX watches for open water swimming. Of course, I'll eventually remake that massive open water swimming ranking video like I've done in the past. But when I've ranked COROS videos for open water swimming in the past, they haven't been the most accurate of devices, at least when it comes to open water swimming. And then, as far as radio connectivity goes, both of these watches provide Wi-Fi, which is nice, and Bluetooth 5.0. Now, the most accurate GPS mode for the APEX 2 is called All System Satellite, meaning it can connect to a variety of different satellite systems, which is very different than dual frequency plus all systems, meaning multiple satellite systems simultaneously. Only the APEX Pro has the ability to use that dual frequency GPS. But both devices have a redesigned GPS antenna for a 50% higher performance. What does that mean in reality? Well, it's odd, I had both of these watches set to the, very best GPS systems that they provided, and it kind of went back and forth. Sometimes the APEX ended up doing a little bit better than the APEX Pro, which you would expect to do better. And then sometimes when on some difficult trails in this situation, the APEX Pro ended up doing a little bit better than the regular APEX. But both watches have a newly redesigned optical heart rate sensor. On some runs, I did notice a couple of issues, but on the last run that I did early this morning, it did seem fairly solid when compared to an accurate heart rate chest strap. And the new heart rate sensor also provides blood oxygen saturation levels. So if you're one of those guys that's trying to train at altitude, you will be able to track how you're acclimatizing to that altitude. And the new heart rate sensor provides HRV, or heart rate variability, which I actually think is a fantastic metric for kind of assessing how recovered you are. And it is a little bit counterintuitive, but the more variable your heart rate is, the more recovered you are. Whereas if your heart rate is beating kind of super steady, it's actually your body telling you that it's trying to recover from a strenuous workout or a strenuous day. And that data might encourage you to consider resting a bit more or recovering a bit more. And now with both of these watches and going forward for a lot of the COROS devices, adjusted pace or grade adjusted pace is going to be called effort pace. Effort pace is going to be further developed to take into account, many different environmental factors, other than just uphill and downhill. And from what I can tell, COROS does seem to want to move away from that running power metric, just because it is a little bit awkward for some runners to kind of comprehend, how much power it takes and what does that really mean. But for example, if you are running 10-minute pace, but you're running on a difficult trail and you're going uphill, your effort pace may say something like a 7-minute pace, really to help athletes have a clearer understanding of how much effort they're putting out and how that is going to affect their overall pacing strategies for both workouts and races. Okay, why would someone pick the COROS APEX 2 Pro versus the regular APEX 2? Well, one, larger screen. The Pro has a 1.3 inch 260 by 260 pixel display, whereas the APEX 2 is a 1.2 inch screen, 240 by 240 pixel display. And the APEX Pro also has a larger battery life. I'll put a few charts on the screen here, but both APEXs did get a nice little bump in battery life. And COROS has always been known for really prioritizing battery life on their watches. But either of these watches could get you through a 24-hour ultra run, even using the most demanding GPS settings on this particular watch. But if you use either of these watches in their standard GPS modes, you can get up to 45 hours in the APEX 2 or up to 75 hours in the APEX 2 Pro. Now, third reason you might want to consider the APEX 2 Pro, it has more storage. 32 gigs on this particular watch. I'm not exactly sure how much the regular APEX 2 has, maybe about half the storage, but both of these watches can provide you with music on board. MP3s currently, they are trying to figure out how to do, some sort of streaming services and syncing that data over here. Doesn't look like that's gonna happen this year, but also as far as storing data on these devices, you have global offline landscape and topographical maps. And the last reason that you might want to consider the Pro over the regular APEX 2 would be that dual frequency plus all system satellite option. Theoretically, it should be more accurate than the regular APEX 2 here. In practice, I'm not positive that that's the case. But, this is a solid update for the COROS APEX line. I do kind of wish that the prices were a little bit more reasonable. I would have loved to have seen, this APEX 2 at $300 and the Pro at $400. I just don't think that we're gonna see watches with sapphire lenses and titanium watch bodies at those nicer price points. And I think that COROS really wanted to keep these watches rugged and durable. I would have also loved to see that dual frequency GPS option in the non-Pro $400 APEX 2. I was super impressed when Garmin did it with their Forerunner 255. They actually have that watch, I think sells for about $350, and it has that dual frequency GPS option. My theory is that, it has less to do with the price of the GPS chip and maybe more to do with the fact that COROS wanted to distinguish between the APEX 2 and the APEX 2 Pro. you know, it's dangerous for me to say that. I really don't have any ideas as to why they decided which one was going to get what. What do you guys think? Is this a great update coming from COROS? Are you guys considering one of these? If so, you know, which one? For me, you know, I don't know. I think people choosing between these two watches will largely make that decision based on the look of these devices, the size of these devices, and the price here. The two watches are very, very similar when it comes to functionality. So I think, you know, how it looks and fits on your particular wrist is gonna be pretty important here. Overall, I think that if you are a fan of COROS and you like their focus on rugged, tough, outdoor, ultra running capable watches, I think that you're gonna be very happy with either of these updates from the Apex and the Apex Pro devices. But, you know, no matter what you're out there buying or not purchasing, be sure to get out there, swim, bike, run, rinse, and then repeat it all over again. And we will see you guys on the next one.